Hello guys, so this is a tutorial video on Trapmetal, on how I do Trapmetal at least. This is a very simple but pretty hard beat, and in this beat I pretty much use the whole new Hanzo and ZZ drum kit. Pretty fire drum kit, just got it, and this is the first time I've used it, and everything was very good in it, so pretty happy with it. Other than that, there's also loops in there and stuff for you guys if you guys want to check it out. But how I usually start off a beat is I start off with my melody first. And depending on how I start, it usually just depends on where I want, like where I feel comfortable, which is for me is D minor is where I feel the most comfortable with and the way I can get the most sounds. But I have done beats in like F minor, usually every minor scale that you can usually do. If you go to like the higher, or I mean like F minor, E minor, those scales are very like higher, so you're not gonna get that deeper tone with it. But this is the first melody I have. So I started off in D minor, and then I used the 2 and the 3 and the 7 and then the 4. Usually with more like darker, sadder things, I think it's better to stick to the 2, 3, the 5, and 7, or the root note again. What I did is I went back to the root note, but I went from the 3 to the 7 to the 2 to the 2 again to the 4 on the first part pattern, and then I went from 2 to the root note to, or sorry, 3 root note, 2, and then 6, and then the 4. And again, this I'll show you what it sounds like. The effects I have for this is, first I had a electric VST guitar. I added a metal amp roots, which is a free VST plugin for an amp, and then I EQ'd it. I got rid of pretty much all the lows except a little bit right here, or the bass at least, because I want my 808s to stand out more. And then I lowered the treble, and then lowered this or raised it just a very tiny bit. Then I added some reverb onto it. This is Valhalla. This is my mix. Turn the size up a little bit so it's a lot more of a feeling into it. And then I'll show you what it sounds like right now. Just gives it a lot more space. And then after that, I made a second melody, which is the same exact first one as my guitar, except at a higher octave. And this was a free VST called Ample Metal Hellraiser, which is a free metal guitar VST. And then with that one, I again got rid of all the bass in it and raised the highs because I want it to have more of a feel as more like not just all low. And then I put a fastest on it, a distortion, and then I put a more reverb onto it, and this is what it sounds like. Now moving down to my 808s. With my 808s and my kick, actually I'm going to add my kick into there because they kind of have to play off each other. With my 808 and my kick, that's my 10, 11 right here. These two match very good, so if I was to play them real quick without the kick. They match very well. They can work together and mix well. Now, with the kick in there though, right here, let me turn off the limiters for them. I'll go into that in a second. That's what it sounds like. You just want to keep like a very at least in the hook, or for me, it's easier to keep a very steady, like, same pattern. Um, and then I always keep my kick very loud, something from the from the -3 to 0. It's very, or I think it's the -3, but it's from anything around 0. I want my kick to be very loud. I want it to stand out. And plus with my kick, and a lot of trap metal beats you'll see is people add limiters to the 808s, to the melodies, to everything. And with the limiter on there, which is this, it makes it so you hear that cutout feeling where like it goes in and out. When the kick hits, the bass drops. And with that, you're just, how you do it is, if you're on your kick, say I want to do 10, you're gonna right click the arrow right here, sidechain to this track, and then click on it, open up a fruity limiter, go to the ceiling. I raise it up a little bit. You don't really initially have to. I just think it works better. Then you're going to sidechain it to that track, and then give it depends on where you actually like need or want to do it, but that's how I had it for both mine. The ratio is up and down, and then this is what it sounds like now. See how it's cutting out of the 808 right there? That's and then that's also works for the melody too. So we play with the melody and the 808 and the kick. Now moving on to my claps and my snares. I layered a clap and a snare to give it more of a different feeling than usual. I usually do this for like every beat. I usually for like the hook or the verse, change it up. You can layer 2 snares, 2 claps. I like to always have a snare in my beat for trap metal because I think it just sounds better. But this is what it sounds like. Again, that is on the 2, and then the 4, and then the 2 and 4. And then now moving on to my open hats and my crashes. These I match with the kick, so they will hit off the kick and on the kick. It just something that sounds good, it fills out the beat more. This is what it sounds like. Now moving to my hi-hats. This is my hi-hat pattern. I put a 2-step, but since I had my open hats hitting and my crashes hitting, I also didn't want to just be like the whole time. I wanted to leave some of the hi-hats out and let some like triplets play and then some quads play, whatever. This is what it sounds like. So this is everything all together, and then I'll go into the intro. Now moving on to the intro, I just put down my 808 first, or one of them. I think it's my higher one, and I let the kicks hit, and then I have also a crash hit, my tag, and then I put the open hat in, and then I also put the 2 guitars. Now with the guitars, with any beat, usually you could do this if you want to bring in the melody and have a pretty good drop. I put a reverb, and then I got, for both of my guitars, I got reverb on them, a lot of reverb, and then a automation clip for the volume. So it starts off at nothing and goes up into higher, while the reverb starts high and ends low. The volume will start low, end high, and this is what it sounds like. Also, you can also add like a bunch of like effects into it. I usually add the THRAX beat into my beats because I'm just a copycat, and yeah, and I also added this scream to it, just give it more of a feel. I'm more of like a eerie feel, I guess. But now moving on to the verse, this is how I did it, at least. And yeah, I'm gonna give it a playthrough. Now starting off with my melodies first, my 2 guitars, again they're the same thing. It's pretty much the same melody, except I just changed it up a little bit, gave it a little bit of variation. And this is what it looks like, and then here I'll play it for you guys right now. Something more of like a faster paced feel, and then more sought out like guitar where you could listen to it better. And this is what it sounds like. Now moving on to my third melody, this is just a serum preset I got, and then I stuck with a 3, a 2, and then to the 4, just for more like a sadder feeling, I guess. And now with that melody, which one is it on? It's 15, yes. I added some gross beats to it. This is the EQ. I brought up the highs, got rid of some of the lows, and the bass. Added a distortion to it, nothing like crazy, just something to make it louder. And then with my gross beats, which is what like mostly comes in, I added like a glitchy sound effect, so it has that glitchy feel. And then a more like repeater sound where it like goes in and out real quick, or repeats. And then a reverb, and then also that limiter so my kick can make it go in and out. And this is what it sounds like. And this is what it sounds like with the gross beat. Now moving on to my hi-hats. This one is where I did want to keep a two-step hi-hat pattern and just keep it going. I added a lot of like drops, double hits, quads, and then triplets. This is what it sounds like. Now moving on to my 808 and my kicks. So this one I had to mix the 808s and the kicks together. For the first one down here, I think it's bass C, I had to get rid of where I upped the bass, got rid of the highs. On the other bass, which is the Denji bass, I got rid of the lows and upped the highs. And this is what my kicks and my 808 sound like. Yes, it is kind of very muddy. It's also my 808 pattern. Kind of the same thing as last time, just a little bit of a different variation, and gives it more of like a faster feel, a different feel to it, but it's still nice. And now with my hi-hats too, I forgot to mention is I did layer 2 of them on top of each other to give it more room. Now instead of a snare and a clap, I did 2 snares, and this is what it sounds like. Now again with my open hats and my crashes, I kind of just did the same thing. I layered it with the kick on some of them, on the others I didn't, and with the crashes I kind of just made it 1, 2, and then on the third, and then again the repeats. That's what it sounds like. Now this is what it all sounds like together. Now with that, in my beats usually I like to get rid of some like spaces. So like right here, I'm getting rid of my hi-hats and letting the clap and the snare hit better, so it gives it like a little more of like a little drop again. Here it is. And then in the intro again, I let my guitars play so that you guys can hear them, see what they sound like. So it's like in your brain now. You can hear the 808s and all that after that. On my verses, I like to get rid of the 808s a lot. It just gives it more of a feel to it. It gives it like variation to it, and this is what the first like cutouts. Oh, I let my hi-hats play on this one, so though after the 5-step, then it goes into the 808s. And then on the second one, I cut out my 808 so that the kick and then that hi-hat pattern that drops to a lower note hits, so it's a different sound you can hear. And then again, I did some little things over here. I'll play them for you guys. And then for the end of it, I just put that third melody I made for the verse, plus the gross beat, and then my original guitar. And that's pretty much it. I did want to show you guys some things, like different types of beats. This is more of just a simple, like, I guess not really THRAX, but is THRAX. This is my take on Trapmetal, I guess, for like a simple beat. You could definitely go crazy with some things. I'll show you in these next clips right now.